My wife, now 27F, and I, 37M, have been married happily for about 5 years, but our relationship began when she was 13 and I was 23. We are still deeply in love with each other and we don't regret the past. Once I graduated from university, I immediately moved overseas to complete my master's and also found a small teaching position at one of the more competitive middle schools in the city where I was studying. I taught English initially and eventually history once I had learned the language well enough. I also tutored on the side so I could have some travel money. For the sake of anonymity, I'll call my wife Lily. During the winter of my first year teaching, she transferred to my English class. Admittedly, she was an adorable kid at the time, yet my feelings for her were limited to the admiration a teacher naturally has for their students. One day towards the end of the school year, Lily and her mother came and found me after school to ask if I could tutor Lily privately. As I needed the money and Lily was so fun to teach, I accepted and we began classes that summer. Over the next year I seemed to become a part of the family. Besides simply tutoring Lily, they would invite me out to dinners, short outings around the city and so on. At first it was overwhelming and I tried to politely decline their invitations as it seemed to surpass what would be appropriate under most circumstances, but they were relentless. Her parents' trust in me became almost absolute. I must have been charismatic at that age, because I made no conscious effort to appease them. They would occasionally be absent during our lessons, so Lily and I spent a fair amount of time alone. We would mostly stick to the material I prepared, but sometimes we would both get bored with it and talk casually. Naturally, we became close and comfortable with one another. Months went by and I started feeling a strong connection with her. We bonded over many things: paintings, music, novels and attitudes towards life. Her entire outlook was well beyond her age. At first, I told myself it was a sort of elderly brother's care that I was feeling or a fatherly instinct, but I was clearly in denial that I could be attracted to someone so young. One evening we got on the topic of cooking and it turned out she had never learned to cook anything before. So, I thought it would be a great opportunity to teach her vocabulary for a new setting. We went into the kitchen and I taught her to make scrambled eggs. She was doing a poor job of stirring, so I tried to take the spatula away from her, but she insisted on doing it herself, so I stood behind her and guided her hand in the proper motion. Then, spatula still in hand, and for no reason other than that we were particularly close to each other, she turned around in my arms and kissed me. Deeply. I was too shocked to do anything and just accepted it. We stood like that for a few more seconds, kissing slowly, then I came to and pulled away. She immediately began apologizing as apparently I had a very concerned look on my face. I remember saying some nonsense about student-teacher relationships and that I was too old for her, or she would meet someone her own age soon, but to my surprise I had enjoyed it very much despite simultaneously feeling very guilty about the whole thing. I told myself I should have kept our relationship more professional, but looking back I don't think anyone can really say there was anything unhealthy about it. Going against my instincts, I brought myself to acknowledge my feelings for her. At our next lesson I told her that I was in fact attracted to her and willing to see if we could get away with it. At the same time I remember considering why society looks down on the whole thing, and I agreed with that concern in principle. Someone of that age is too easy to manipulate and can often be too scared to speak up when they feel uncomfortable. I didn't want to harm her and knew that in having a relationship with her, the risk was high. So I told her that she had complete power over where things went. If at any moment she wanted out, all she had to do was tell me. Now, let me say that before her, almost all of my previous relationships had been with older women and I had never been attracted to anyone underage before, needless to say a middle school girl. I know that when I fell in love with her it wasn't just some perverted fetish, I really adored her for who she was. The lessons continued as before, but after a while we would take advantage of the time alone to fool around a bit. She went on to high school, then once she was in college we started openly dating. Finally, we married soon after she had finished university. Since then we have both been successful in our careers. I am a professor and she's currently getting her doctorate. There are only a few people in our social circle who know our relationship started that early, and to my surprise most of them haven't anything negative to say about it, but at the same time I know that if most people knew about it, we, and I especially, would be looked down upon. I don't feel guilty, but I am bothered that we have to lie or feel embarrassed about our history because really, we both find it very romantic. I would never encourage people to actively seek these kinds of relationships, and I think pedophilia is a serious mental illness. Anyone who intentionally preys on children should be apprehended. But in cases like ours, people need to be reminded that there are gray areas out there, and what our judgment comes down to should ultimately be the way people treat each other. I really want to know what people think about a relationship like ours. Whether you want to criticize or support us, please explain why you feel the way you do and what moral framework you are coming from. I am also willing to answer serious questions. Thank you for reading. Edit. This is my first time on Reddit and I didn't know what to expect, but given the reactions below I'll just clarify some things, to save myself time. The original draft I had was much longer than what I posted, and I left out a lot of details, so hopefully this will clear up some key points. I won't say which country I traveled to nor where we live now. It's just to protect our privacy. From the time we decided to be together until she entered university, her parents never found out. We didn't do anything stupid while we were around them, and kept that aspect of our relationship limited to the lessons in which we're left alone. At the time we had arranged for 1 to 2 times a week, for around an hour and a half to 2 hours. So it wasn't really much time, and to even call it a relationship seems inaccurate. Also, there was no plot on the part of her parents to marry her off to me for money or status. They were well off, even by international standards, and it actually set her up on a number of dates in her last year of high school and first year of college, before we were official. Her parents are currently very supportive of us. However, when Lily told her mother during her freshman year that we were dating, there was some chaos, and Lily diffused everything by saying that we had met one day to catch up and then fell for each other. That is the story they seem to believe, and if they do have doubts now, they haven't voiced them. No regrets. My wife's dog attacked my daughter, so I had to unalive it. Ida? Apologies for the throwaway, but the title says it all. Don't get me wrong. I love the dog, but I made a choice between my daughter and the dog, and obviously I chose my daughter, but everyone is pissed at me. It is at the point where my wife has been staying with her parents the last week and not talking to me. The same is true for the rest of the family, my side included. 2 weeks ago, I came home from work, and my 6-year-old daughter came running out of the house to greet me, like she does every day. My wife had a 4-year-old mixed breed that came running up behind my daughter, grabbed her on the leg, dragged her to the ground, and basically started to maul her. This was not playing at all, he was attacking my daughter. I grabbed the dog off of my crying and screaming daughter and threw him to the side. He again started snarling and barking at my daughter, ready to attack her again. I pulled out my pistol, grabbed my daughter's head, pushed it into my chest, and fired 2 shots, killing the dog. My daughter is fine at the moment and was cleared, as we did call an ambulance, and she was taken to the hospital. A bite mark on the cloth, shoulder, and neck that pierced the skin, and a bunch of scratches. Luckily, nothing vital was hit, so she will physically make a full recovery. Therapy will be ongoing. It started this week to help with what happened, and now that she is now deathly afraid of dogs, I don't blame her at all. My wife, on the other hand, after our daughter was cleared from the hospital, was cold to me, and when I asked her what was wrong, she went off on me for shooting the dog. She asked how I could take away something that she loved. I may be the a-hole for my response because I said I didn't care that animal attacked our daughter and I would shoot it again if I had to. She didn't speak to me for almost a week after the incident until she told me she would be staying with her parents for a while. She told mutual friends, her family, and mine that I shot her dog, and they are calling me some very nice things, including murderer and animal abuser. She hasn't lied about why I shot the dog, and I have also confirmed the reason as to why, but I'm still the bad guy. I should have known my daughter would be okay. The dog might just have been playing and got a bit rough. I had no right to shoot a family pet. My point remains the same. I saw a dog attacking my daughter, I got him off of her, and he came back to attack her again. I protected my daughter and will do it again. This didn't happen over minutes, it was literally seconds, and I acted on the information I had at the time. I wasn't about to take any chances with the dog that had already attacked her and came back again. We are lucky the damage wasn't more severe. When I try to explain my side, all I get back is that I am trying to justify my actions. I am also the bad guy because I told my wife I would be talking to a lawyer as I was thinking about getting a divorce because she made it clear that she cares more for an animal than our daughter. I gave her 2 options, family and couple counseling or divorce. My daughter is asking every day when her mother will be coming home and why she won't talk to her over the phone. The questions of if she did anything wrong and if her mother hates her have already started as well, but my wife still refuses to talk or come home just to see our daughter. All of my communications between my wife and me have gone through her mother because my wife is refusing to answer her phone or text. I have also told her that I will be going for full custody of our daughter if I go through with the divorce, because she is making it clear that our daughter doesn't actually matter to her. Still no answer received from her, but all third parties are calling me a monster for not seeing my wife's pain and going nuclear, but I can't get an answer when I ask about our daughter's pain. Why isn't she hearing? Why is she ignoring her own daughter? Ada? Edit. I read through my post and noticed I made my wife sound emotionless about our daughter when she got attacked. That isn't fair to her, as she was freaking out when she came running out of the house, seeing our daughter covered in blood. She was crying and kept asking if our daughter would be okay. Her behavior only started after our daughter was cleared from the hospital. Police were called as a firearm was discharged, but I was cleared, and no charges will be filed against me for killing the dog as I only did it to protect my daughter. I have chimeras, and that was confirmed every time I told the police. If you are interested, it was 21 seconds from the dog attacking to me shooting.